Hi friends, Penny here. I should always start out on this side because I have to look at my computer to make sure that I am live. And so let me check that real quick, do a refresh on my laptop, make sure it's showing up there. And it looks like it is. Good. Hi everyone. I'll wait just a minute or two for people to check in and say hello, and so that I know things are being received on the other end fine. Looks like they are. So, thank you for joining me tonight. It has been a hot day. Very hot. Rod and I went for our walk earlier today, and wow, we were really hot when we got back. And I'm not looking forward to the same later, after I get done with the Facebook Live. And after the sun gets a little bit lower in the sky, we'll go for our walk again. And, man, this is what we expect, though, in July in Nebraska, don't we? So, thanks for joining me. It looks like Kathy is here. Let me look over here and see. Cheryl is here. Hello, guys. Thanks for coming in tonight. Tonight I'm not going to do a card. I oftentimes do a card, but tonight instead I'm going to do a little 3D item. It's pretty simple. And yeah, yes, Kathy, not too bad if you're just sitting outside. Walking up and down the hills and not always being under the trees in the shade, that made a big difference. But anyway, like I said, we expect that this time of year. So I'm going to be okay with it. Well, hi, Mary. Thanks for joining me. I thought you were going to be busy, but thank you. And Chris is here. Hello, Chris. Thanks, guys. I'll say this now. I'll repeat it again later, but oh, yeah, I know, Cheryl. I know you love 3D, so I think you'll like this. You can use 2 6x6 sheets to make this. If you need the same paper, but 2 6x6. If you have, you know, some of our Stampin' Up packs come in. Oh, hi, Rena. Hello. Oh, man, I'm so jealous. Rena lives in Hawaii. So even though it's miserably hot here, I'm sure it's warm in Hawaii, but it's beautiful in Hawaii. So nobody could ever complain about weather there, could they? Hi, Sharon. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so 2 6x6 sheets if they're the same. Stampin' Up paper, some of it comes in 6x6 packs. So this will be a good thing that you can do. Sometimes people say, what can I do with the 6x6? I mean, you can make cards, obviously, but it's harder to do 3D. And you can do small 3D things with it, where you use one piece of 6x6. But this is going to use 2 pieces, putting them together, so you can get a little bit bigger of an item. So I'm going to put the camera in the holder, or actually it's my phone, of course, but I'm going to put it in the holder and turn it down. I also need to go over who won some cards lately from my drawing, so I'll do that real quick and then we'll get going on the 3D project. So let me switch you around here and put you downwards, put you in the holder, make sure all is square with the world. Oh, look at that, my cord. There, you don't need to see my cord. There. I'll zoom in a little bit. You guys give me feedback if I am zoomed in too much when it comes to making the item. There. Because I usually forget to zoom in. So, anyway, so Renee from Michigan, I don't know if she's watching, but it says Debbie Lynn. Oh, Debbie, hello, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I know that you're not on Facebook very often, so thanks for joining me. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, Renee. Renee, when she watches this, she said, I think she's going to try to catch it later. I have very good news. Way back 2 or 3 lives ago, I did a card where I used the heat embossing on vellum and I colored it. Yeah, this is zoomed in too much, isn't it? I wonder if I can go out. hard to go out once you've gone in. Anyway, I did I had one card and then I did a second that night, and this is the card for Renee. She was drawn, but then for a while I couldn't find this card in my room. Imagine that, a messy craft room where you can't find something. Yep, that was the case. So I have found it now. So Renee, yay, I'll be sending it to you. And let's see, the other thing is, a while back, I announced it before, but a while back I did the drawing, and Grayson won for sharing and liking my post. I did, so here is Grayson's card. I will be giving to Grayson if she watches this later. I wanted her to see that. And then the last drawing that we did was for this Scrappy Technique card that I made, and I had quite a few more people share and like that post, so that was nice. And Mary, I know you won't believe it, but you won. You said you never win anything, and then you won one of my drawings a few times ago, and look, you won this time, and you were the big winner at bingo a week and a half ago. So your luck has obviously changed. You are now the winner. So I will get this card to you. So that are the last 3 cards that I had to give away. I'll show you tonight's. Yes, Mary says, what? I see that over in the comments real quick. Yes, I know. Truly, I did the wheel decide like I always do. That time, you know, since I don't get tons of likes and shares, I got more views, but only a few people liked and shared. I had 5. I have them written down. Where's my list? I had them written down. Anyway, of the 5 people, Mary, you came up on the wheel decide. So, yay. But yeah, Chris was on there, Cheryl was on there, I think Kathy maybe was, I don't know, my list is somewhere. I wonder if I still have Wheel Decide pulled up. I don't know, I doubt it. Anyway, that's that. So here is tonight's project. Now the first one I did, since I saw something that inspired me, but I changed up the measurements, and so not wanting to waste my wonderful new designer series paper, or DSP, from the new catalog, I used some retired paper to make sure it was going to work out okay. So that's this one. I love this color, and I had been hoarding it. I'll be honest, this designer series paper, I loved it so much. I bought, back then they sold it in 12 by 12 packs, but I cut much of it down to 6 by 6. I hoarded this paper so bad. I ordered like 2 or 3 packs of this paper. It's in various colors, the color families. Yeah, it looks like I needed to move down there a bit. Sorry, I wasn't quite in the screen. See, this is what I get for zooming in. That's a problem. I shouldn't have zoomed in. Anyway, what was I saying? I hoarded this paper. Hoarded it because I loved it so much. But this time I got it out. I thought for trying this out and changing up the measurements, I would do it. I've got this cute tag on the front. If you were gifting this to someone, of course, on the back of the tag, you can write to and from. The reason I made this is I wanted something to put some cards in and that I can gift to people. I recently did a Pampered Chef party to help a lady out who I know through working with kids with disabilities at the schools. She's an incredible woman. Her family has been through a ton. And so I had a Pampered Chef party. Some wonderful people ordered from me. I told the people that ordered that I would be getting them some thank you card gifts. So I'm making this pouch. I'm going to put a couple thank you cards in each pouch and give to the nice people that ordered, because that really helped the demonstrator. And me, obviously, too, but I was doing it to help her. And so I'm making these. Anyway, that's why I wanted something that holds a couple cards. I didn't want to buy all of those acetate boxes that we sell through Stampin' Up. Although those are wonderful, I highly recommend them. If you're making gift sets of cards, they're perfect. But in this case, it's just a small token of my appreciation. And I've got DSP to use and stamps and ink, and so that's why I'm making it this way. So tonight, though, this is my prototype, which I really love. I use the small Daisy Lane stamp and punch and the saying from the Daisy Lane set. We'll use current DSP and ribbon and things. So let's do that. I'll set this aside. As I said, it takes 2 pieces of DSP. This DSP is from the Playful Patterns set, which I have that paper. Oh, do I still have it down here? Yes, I do. Oh, I'm sorry. Playing with Patterns, not Playful Patterns. Playing with Patterns is the paper. It's really bright, fun colors and designs. Lots of geometric stripes, polka dots, ombres. It's beautiful. I love it. And I picked out 2 of the same. Obviously, as I said, you need 2 of the same. But I like that the pattern on them is such that they'll meet up, I think, just fine and won't look too crazy off. You know what I mean? I mean, they won't match perfectly, but they'll be awfully close. In fact, I'm going to check. I don't think any of these sides meet up exactly, so we'll go back. Is that the way I had it? No. This is the way I had it. So we'll do that, okay? I'm going to have you guys help me choose between a couple ribbons options that we have. I'll set those over there. For this project, I'm going to use the Calypso Coral ink because that's one of the colors. Most of you that watch me all know that, oh, before I forget, obviously, I always do this. If you like and share my post, in fact, do it right now if you want. Hit like and share. And then in the comments, type shared so that I can go back to your page and see that you've shared me on your page. Then I'll enter you into my drawing for next time. And so you'll win the pouch that I'm doing tonight. And you can put lots of different things in it. It doesn't have to be what I've done, but you'll win tonight's pouch. Again, just make sure you like my video, share it to others, and type in the comment that you've done that. That way I can go look and see that you've shared it. Obviously, I'm trying to reach more people who don't already know about me. So this is a great way to do it. Anyway, okay, back to this. I'm sorry for that interruption. I'm going to get out my Stampin Trimmer because we're going to use this for scoring. We actually won't be cutting this paper with the tool, but we will score with it. The other things that I'm going to use tonight is the medium daisy punch, this scallop tag topper. Oh, here's the list of people who I put in the drawing. Cheryl, Chris, Sharon, Mary, and Renee. Oh, Kathy didn't share it. I'm sorry. But those 5, this was from June 19th, so it's been a little while ago. But you guys were the ones who shared it, so I knew I had put it here. Sorry. You know that saying, squirrel, where you get sidetracked by something else? I feel like that right now. Anyway, back to this. I'm going to use just a bit of terracotta tile cardstock for the tag. I told you the ink, and I'm going to use tear and tape to put this together. If you prefer to use wet glue, you can, or you can use what used to be called Fast Fuse, but we now have the new adhesive called, oh, let me think what it's called. Something X. What's it called? Something Seal X. Oh, I've already forgotten. All right, onwards. I don't want this to take forever. I feel like it always takes so long when I do these because I get chatty. So the 2 pieces, you're going to score them exactly the same. And I've got a cheat sheet here to help me remember because I knew in the moment I would forget because I get kind of nervous. And by kind of, I mean a lot when I do these. Let me check, make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, terracotta tile or Calypso Coral. Oh, yes, you're right. Calypso Coral, thank you. You know, they look so much alike. I had terracotta tile out. What was I doing with that? Anyway, I had that out, but they are fairly close. But you're right, it is Calypso Coral ink and Calypso Coral cardstock to make the tag with, because that's the color in here that I'm going to pull out. The other couple colors are Crushed Curry, Purple Posy, and I think that one is Petal Pink. And then the pack has lots of other bold colors in it too. So it's a great pack. All right, back to scoring. So, like I said, I saw a similar project, but I changed the scoring up to fit the card as what my needs were. So the first one is I'm going to score it at 1 inch, and I'm using my Stampin Trimmer because it has a score blade in it. Now 1 inch isn't very far over, so there we go. Make sure you're using the light gray one, that's the score one. This dark one is your cutting. So 1 inch and then 5.5 inches. And then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to score it at 1 inch. Whoops, this way. Doesn't matter. On the Stampin' Up trimmer, there you can measure 1 inch on either side, so it's kind of handy for that. So there we go, 1 inch. Okay. There. Now I'm going to do the next one exactly the same. 1 inch, 5.5. Turn it and score it at 1. Okay, so they are the same. That should be all I need the trimmer for. Or now I actually only used it to score, but you know what I mean. Okay, let me get my bone folder out. And I should remind you guys that when you score designer series paper, it's thick. Stampin' Up! Has wonderful designer series paper. It's nice and thick, but it is not as thick as cardstock. So be careful that you don't push so hard that you tear through it. But you saw I went up and down a couple times and didn't tear anywhere. So I'm just saying, don't use the same force you would if you were going through thick cardstock, especially like if you're doing a card base, and we score those pretty firmly because we want those cards to stay flat and shut. Okay. All right, now let me move my score marks. So this goes together pretty easily, I think. Let me get some scissors to trim. Okay, so I'm scored on the side and the side here. These are the sides that are going to go together. This will be the bottom, the 1 inch all along the bottom there. Okay, so I'm going to cut up. I'm going to turn it over. No, this side's busy. I'm going to cut up on the side that is square. I'm not going to cut it off. I'm just going to cut up to this score mark here. Okay. This rectangle, because this is like a square, the rectangle is the one that I'm going to cut away. I don't need that to put this together. And I'm going to notch this just a little bit, miter it or notch it a little bit, like so, and then a little bit at the top as well, just a little bit of a miter, like that. Okay. What I do to the first one, I'm going to do to the second. It's going to be the same. Okay, so I'm going to find that one that is like this square. I'm going to go up. And then on this side, I'm going to cut it off. And just now I'm having a moment of panic, wondering if I turned this the wrong way when I scored it. I was there, and I don't think so. Okay. I think I did, actually. Gosh darn it. I did. I turned one the wrong way. Hang on. Go live. Of course, that always happens. Spare. Let's try it again. Okay. 1 inch. I probably goofed myself up when I moved it over here. 1 inch. 1/2. And 1. Yes, there. You have to make sure that you score them one not different than the other. There. Thanks for bearing with me. Okay, back to this. Cut this one off. notch it, notch up here, cut up here. Because what they're going to do is they're going to go together. Okay. This is where I'll use the schooler tape. And like I said, if you prefer, you could use liquid glue. I usually do like liquid glue. It's just that when I'm doing something live, you kind of have to let it dry for a sec. Not a long time. But, in fact, I had to get out a new glue bottle today. I was making some other things, and I was going through the liquid glue pretty fast. Okay, so what I'm going to do is on the small 1/2 inch side, that's the part that I've put the tape on, I'm going to line this up to here, okay? And it might be hard to see for you guys, but I'm going to really pay attention to where this score mark is and try to line this edge up with this score mark, okay? As close as I can. Also paying attention to the fact that I want it to line up at the bottom and at the top. Like that. See how that's going to be one side of the box pouch now? I'm just going to give that a nice, good, firm press. And now this side, this is the easier one, I think, because all I have to do is fold this over and make sure it's lining up before I press it down and give it a press. Okay? So now I've got the makings of the box. Okay? If you were making these up for like an event, like say you were going to have a church function or a community function or anything, you wanted to make these up for people, you could make these up, and as long as you don't do the bottom part gluing together, you could store them flat. You could even go so far as like to put the tags on it and stuff, and just not to glue the bottom together yet. But once you've glued the bottom together, of course you can't store it flat. What you'll do though to glue the bottom is just push in the sides. If you're going to put something very heavy in it, you could either put score tape or tear and tape here and here, or what's a little bit easier at this point is just a tad bit of liquid glue, which is gummied up for me. You don't need a lot, just a tad bit. Come on, liquid glue. How many times have I seen other videos where this happens to people? Now it gets to happen to me. Okay. And since, you know, usually when you're putting together a 3D project, you want to see where your seams are and put those towards the back. But in this case, there's a seam on each side, so it doesn't really matter. So once I've got those little ones, I just use my bone folder inside to kind of push down those flaps to make sure the liquid glue stuck. Now on this one, you could either use tear tape or you could use liquid glue. Since I've got the liquid glue handy and it's running now, I'll go ahead and do that. And fold it up. Again, use the bone folder on the inside to kind of make it grab hold. It doesn't take very long at all, as you guys know. There, that's that part. Now, I used, where did I put it? Oh, I put it away. I don't know why I did. Stampin' Up no longer, well, they haven't for a long time sold a crocodile. In fact, they've gotten rid of their hole punches. So any kind of hole punch that you have, you could use on here. I just used the smaller hole of my crocodile to get in there. And before I did that, because I'm a little bit anal, I tried to get an idea of where the middle was and mark it with my pencil. So it's 4.5 inches across, so at 2 1/4, I marked a dot so that I know roughly where to go into. Nobody's going to notice too much if you're off, but it gives you a reasonable chance of getting towards the middle. And now let's do a couple of the daisies. Well, no, let's do this while I've got this out. The scallop tag topper, if you don't have it, it is a really useful tool. I use it quite often. It's been around quite a few years. I was relieved when the new catalog came out and they didn't discontinue it because I use it quite often. But there's a good chance it might not make it past this next year. Just like I said, it's been around so long. And they've come up with some new ones that have a different design at the top. Anyway, tag topper punch, 2 inches is the width here. So if you cut your paper 2 inches or just a hair under 2 inches, it'll slide right up there, go all the way up to it stops, push it down, pull it out, and it's already scalloped and it already has a hole in it for your ribbon. It's quite handy. I measured this at, like I said, just a hair under 2 inches by 4. That's what I did. You can make it as long as you want. I've done bookmarks with these before. I use these a lot of times when I make my, well, they're kind of like a bookmark that has the new in color strips on it and it has the names. I don't have one handy or I'd show you, but I often use the tag topper for that. So let's set that aside. Let's do our daisies now. And yeah, it is Calypso Coral. We've got that straight, haven't we? Okay, this is from the Daisy Lane set. I'm using this one. There's a large daisy and the medium daisy, and I'm using the medium daisy because it coordinates with the medium daisy punch. And there's friend, the word friend, the word smile, and a couple other sentiments. A beautiful leaf, a fern leaf, beautiful stem. But I'm just using this, and then I'm using smile. Okay. And it's a red rubber stamp set. So I don't need a cushiony thing underneath here to stamp. The cushion is built into the red rubber stamps, so that's why you don't. And another one. And I'm just stamping it on Whisper White. Just a scrap of it. And then the medium daisy punch. I use my punches, as do most people, upside down. This way is the top, and you can see everything, what it is here and here. The sliding mechanism is how you can close it and lock it so it takes up less shelf space. Open it up, and then I hold it upside down so that I can line up the petals and turn it just ever so. If you slightly push it, it grabs hold of the paper, and then if you push the rest of the way, it'll punch. Okay? I'll do that twice here. You could make a 3 flower daisy. I usually do 2, but 3 would just make it that much fuller. And then the bottom daisy, I take a bone folder. You have to be careful you don't pull the leaves, the petals off because they're skinny. But I fold the bottom one downwards, and then the top one, I'll go the opposite direction, a little upwards, just barely a little bit of a, so they're not flat. And then you could use between them a Stampin' Dimensional or liquid glue, depending on how thick you want this to be. I am going to use dimensional when I put it on the tag, so between the 2 layers I'm just going to use liquid glue. And then, as I said, in the Daisy Lane set, there's the word smile, which you'd stamp on this Whisper White. Or the other option would be friend. And then I used from the nested label dies. They're stitched around the edges, the stitch nested label dies. It's a great set of dies. You get all of these plus all of these. So many sizes, virtually any size you're going to need is in there. I used the next to the smallest, I believe. Let's see, 1 is the smallest. This would be 2, the next to the smallest. I used this size to cut out the smile because, as you can see, it just fits perfectly there without being too big. I didn't want to get too large because I want it to fit on my, tag. But I've already done one of those, so you don't have to have me pull up the, oh, if I can find it, I set it up here. There it is. I did one off camera, that way you wouldn't have to wait on me to get the die cutter up here and cut it out. Oops. But this, there we go. Move my dies out of the way. Okay, so as I said, you could put the daisy up with dimensional under it, which I think I will do. Look, I'm getting low on my pack there. Good thing I got a dozen more packs. So I put 1 dimensional right in the middle of the back. I'm going to put it up here towards the top a little ways. And then smile. I'm going to put a couple on the back of that. If you were not gluing the bottom together and you were going to pack these away flat for a little while, you know, maybe you wouldn't want to use dimensionals, I don't know, but we tend to use lots of dimensionals when we create. And then just put that there. Now we're ready to do ribbon. Oh, I better put my ink away. Don't need it to dry out. So, I'm going to take, up here at the top, take my 2 index fingers and then my middle finger and my thumbs on each side. My index finger, I'm just going to push inwards on the sides, like so, and then kind of pinch it. Okay, like that. There. Now here's where I have to decide on ribbon. I had out this beautiful white ribbon that has the silver edged. It's called metallic silver edged ribbon. So I thought that would be pretty. But then I noticed that we have this beautiful gingham Bumblebee ribbon I haven't used before. I'm just not sure that I'm loving that on there. If it makes a bold enough statement. Let's see. Let's put it with the tag and see what you guys think. It's a softer look, so whichever one I use, then I'm going to use this Calypso Coral, Calypso Coral ribbon around it a bit to tie into the color. What do you think? Whoever's still on here, weigh into me. Which ribbon? The gingham Bumblebee ribbon on the right side, or the silver metallic edge ribbon on the left? It's going to go on here, so what do you think? Let's see. Renee says yellow. So far I see Renee. Renee, I don't know if you caught at the beginning, I found the card that I'm supposed to send to you a while ago. I sent you that other card and told you I couldn't find it. Kathy says Bumblebee. Good. So 2 for the yellow. I guess we're going to go yellow. Nancy says yellow. Everybody's with yellow. Okay, good. It does tie in so good, doesn't it? Okay. So, to do that, I went through the tag, and then I went through the hole. I'm sorry I won't be able to get this turned just perfectly for you. In fact, let me just go through here first. Pull it through there. Just the one side. And I didn't punch through the whole bag. If you were putting something shorter in here, I should mention that. You would just punch the hole through both sides, go through both at once, and it would be a nice closure. My cards, though, slightly stick up, so that's why I stayed just to the front with this tag. And I wasn't so worried about closing the bag shut and keeping it shut, but if you were making this, that's what you would do with the crocodile. Just poke through both sides if you're putting things in here that are shorter. Okay, enough of that. Anyway, back to using the yellow. Let me remember, what was this called again? Bumblebee Gingham. Yeah, Gingham Ribbon Bumblebee. There you go. So, okay, so we've got that. Then I'm going to feed the tag through there. Left-handed is not as good as right. Come on. Okay. Then I keep these little mini clothespins on my desk for when I tie these kind of things, so I can clip it. And for this second ribbon, you want something more narrow. What is beautiful to use is baker's twine, or like our seam binding ribbon. That's wider, but it's so crinkly and thin you could use it. But something more narrow. Your original ribbon's got to be 1/4 inch or bigger, and then your one that ties around it needs to be skinnier. And you can choose to tie this. I tie it upside down. I learned that if you tie bows upside down, they usually come out with the tails going the right way. You could either knot this or tie it in a bow. I think I'll try a bow and see how it looks, and if it's awful, I might change it to a knot. But it cinches in that ribbon. The yellow ribbon, I mean, it cinches it in by tying this around it. It fits with this a bit. Oops, I might have just went off camera. If I did, I'm sorry guys. Let me pull it back up. You see how that turned out? Not so good after all, darn it. Let me try that one more. Try it again. I can tie ribbons and bows till the cows come home, but get me on a camera, oh my gosh. I've heard many other people say that too though, so I'm not alone. This time I'm not going to turn it upside down. I don't know that that helped me. There we go. It's not perfect, but I'll fuddle with it off camera. Let's cut it down. And if I hate it, it's a little bit bigger than I want. I don't want it to overpower the yellow. That's why sometimes I just do a knot, because this part should be kind of the smaller part of things. That's better. There we go. Yeah. I like that. And then you kind of want to separate these two. I'm going to cut them a little bit at a slant. I do like that gingham. There. Cute, huh? I made it seem harder than it really is. It's not. What you want to do that I forgot to do is pay attention when you're scoring these, that you don't turn one way and then turn one the other. They won't line up right. Luckily, if you've got spares, you're good. So for this, here's a couple more thank you cards. Oh, where's my envelopes? Here we are. I'm going to put a couple thank you cards in here. What I'll do is, instead of writing in the card, here's one that I did. I thought that was pretty, and it was very simple. But instead of writing in the card, I'll write in a post-it note and put it in the card so that they can use this as a thank you card. But they know that I appreciate their things. So here's a couple. I think this might be the design I showed Chris. Chris, I saw you were on here. Chris had asked for a design to do some simple thank yous for her mom's memorial service. And memorials for her mom. So I think she might have done some of those cards. Probably different paper, but anyway. So see, those will fit right in there. Just a nice little gift. You can put many different things in here. There, easy. Okay. Thanks for joining me, guys. Great minds think alike. Renee wrote. Thank you, guys. Nice words. Chris says yes, it was the one. Okay, good. Well, you'll have to show us sometime your cards, Chris, because I bet they're beautiful. I wanted to mention tonight, so I went through the cards already, but wanted to mention that I have come up with what my next bigger event is going to be. My next one is going to be a one-day retreat. We had so much fun when we did it in real life, in person, back in March. And I had big hopes that we might get to that point. And I know Nebraska is looking better than a lot of states right now, but I'm still not thinking we're quite to that point, not here in July yet. So I'm going to do a one-day retreat, but it's going to be on Zoom. But it'll be from like 10 in the morning till 10 at night. Of course, people can come and go as they choose. It's going to be, one fee is going to include some, half of a designer series pack of paper, a ribbon combo pack, some embellishments, and some card bases. And for the class on Zoom, at particular points in the day, I'll have it scheduled. We'll do probably 10 projects, probably 9 or 10 cards, and a couple 3D projects, I believe. One for sure is going to be a pillow gift that everyone gets who signs up and takes the class with me. You're going to receive one of these 3D treats in your goodie bag, and it's a delicious treat. But then I'll also show you guys how to make one during the class. So it'll be, like I said, at different points in the day. We won't do all projects bing, bang, boom in a row. We'll do like, it'll start at 10. We'll do a couple in the morning. People can scrapbook and crop and do any craft, you know, crochet, knit, whatever in between. And then come back and do some more of the projects. And then either break, go do what you want, stay on and craft whatever you want. Anyway, we'll just spread them out like that, so it's not too much all at once. I'll also have instructions for, like, say you have to leave for a few hours in the afternoon or something, and if you miss part of it, I'll record that part or give you printed instructions on how to complete those couple projects. What else is in it? What else should I say? Oh, the date. The date I have chosen is July 25th. It's a Saturday, the last part of July. We go back to work at the beginning of August, so I thought I would get this in there for July. I'm gonna, when I get done here tonight, I will go and create the event over on Facebook, but I wanted to describe it first here a little bit. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll put all the specifics on the event. Oh, the pricing I'll put on there. So there will be 3 tiers of pricing. The price for the things that I mentioned, which is what you'll need to complete our projects. And they're great items you can use for other things as well. But then that'll be plan A. Plan B will be the pricing. But if you don't have the stamp set we're going to use, you'll have to substitute a stamp set you already have at home, which many of you just did a class with me recently and you got a stamp set. And I know most of you have many stamp sets. But if you wanted to use the same exact stamp set that we will use for the class, it is this one here called So Sentimental. So if you wanted to, Plan B pricing will be all of the things that I mentioned earlier, plus you can add on this stamp set. And if you add this on, I will cover the shipping and the tax and those prices for you on that. You'll just pay for the stamp set flat fee. Plan C will be the items plus the stamp set. And if you don't have terracotta tile, that's where I was getting terracotta tile from earlier, because we'll use terracotta tile ink pad. If you don't have that and you want to add that on, same thing. You can add it on to the cost and I'll cover the shipping and tax and stuff for you on that. So that will be, look for it on my page. And hopefully people that will, I'm sure you'll enjoy the class and the items, but let me know if you have any questions about it. I'll post everything. Anyway, I want to see somebody make some of these and post them. I would love to see that. That makes me happy. So not only share and like my video so that you can win this, but make your own too. You can use any paper you have. It doesn't have to be Stampin' Up. Of course, if you're one of my downline demonstrators, I'd love to see you use Stampin' Up products just because I know you guys already love it. That's why you joined up, and you'll give me great ideas. But if you don't, use any that you have. I don't care. But yeah, just make your own and let me see it. What else would fit in there? All kinds of things. It ends up being an inch wide on the sides, an inch in depth, you know. It's like 4.5 tall, did I say? Is that what it is? Where'd my ruler go? Hiding from me, of course. Good Lord. Oh, there it is. Jeez. I think it's 4.5 tall. Oh, 5 tall. 4.5 across. 4.5 across, 5 tall, and an inch deep. So, yeah. Anyway, make them. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to do another Facebook Live on Friday night since I don't have a class planned for us for Friday, so I'll do a Facebook Live. So tune in then. Take care, guys. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.